In today's video, we're going to be diving into the upcoming pattern, taking a look at obviously colder times ahead as we've already been dealing with, as we're in a basically Arctic blast pattern where constant Arctic blasts from northern Canada are just blasting down into the eastern and central United States. Unfortunately, some recent trends, we've obviously been talking about the 4th, 5th for the warm up. That might be a little bit more brief than we originally anticipated, as models are now kind of starting to trend towards cold coming back after that, which is just so aggravating. We're going to have to take a look at that on today's model run so I can kind of fill you guys in on that. More severe weather, especially for the deeper south locations, but things are going to get a lot more widespread for the more middle and northern areas as we reach towards next week with another storm system moving through. So let's go ahead and dive into all of this. Today on the temperatures, we have changed something up a little bit. Instead of just using the European model, we're using the European ensemble model. Obviously, things are getting a little bit confusing. As I already mentioned, we're seeing these flips back and forth about when the warm-up is coming and how long it's going to last. An ensemble model is great because we're taking the opinion of 20, 15, 20, 30 models. We're blending that together and getting the mean average of what all of them are showing here. So we're kind of getting a more group consensus of what's going to be occurring as opposed to one singular model, which is going to be good in this type of circumstance. So that's why I decided to make that switch. Oftentimes with these, again, confusing pattern flips, the ensemble models are king at figuring that type of stuff out. And I got a funny comment yesterday where somebody was talking about how no Arctic blasts are coming when we're already literally in the midst of one. As you can see, as of today, this air mass did originate again from the Arctic regions of northern Canada and even above that, near the North Pole, and it has blasted down into the eastern and central states. So we are already in a Arctic blast. It's not even a debate. We already are in one, and there is more on the way. This is by the time we're reaching Friday. We see another pocket of, again, another Arctic blast that's gone ahead and moved in. We see this one kind of moving in as well, south of the Hudson Bay. And meanwhile, the whole time we just see these consistently warm temperatures hanging out over western United States, western Canada, western North America as a whole. This is what we call a positive PNA pattern, and this forces the cold air down into the eastern states, as you can see here. So this pushes northward. It causes an imbalance, and all of that cold air that would be over western Canada spills over into these eastern areas, and we are seeing that take place here. As we keep going, this is by this upcoming weekend. This is Sunday the 1st. The eastern seaboard is not going to be the best. Monday the 2nd, this is when we're seeing our warm-up start up. It might be brief now, like I mentioned, but it's still a warm-up nevertheless. We see the cold temperatures actually hugging that west coast. We call this a negative PNA. And we can see that what was the positive PNA, these warmer conditions, are actually on the move eastward into this eastern area. And we see this transition typically happen as positive PNA patterns break up, as we're seeing here. So let's see. It's going to fully move over into the east. Here's Tuesday the 3rd. Wednesday the 4th here. We see it over a lot of the eastern states, and Thursday the 5th here especially. But this is what starts to happen. Already by the 5th, we have warmer temperatures trying to get a hold of the west, and this would force the cold air to move back into the east. This was our negative PNA after the positive PNA, and then this warmth would expand. So I know we're getting crazy confusing here, but again, that's why we use the ensemble model to kind of clear things up. We're warm along the east now, but that could be ending really quickly after this point. Friday the 6th is still there, but already by Saturday the 7th, we see some cooler anomalies moving in. Sunday the 8th, I would say we're in much more of a positive PNA, warm in the west pattern here, and then probably neutral, if not cooler in the east pattern by Sunday the 8th. So just a few days after that warm up occurs. And as you can see, all the way through the end of the model run, we're going to go by high temperatures here. This is, approximately 8 p.m., so just after the high temperatures, and we see cooler anomalies, really, especially the further south you go for the south central, deep south, southeast here, very cool. And we have warm temperature anomalies all along this western North America area. So again, back in the hold and the grasp of a positive PNA pattern if this model is correct. And it is an ensemble model, so we can put more trust into this in the long range than a typical model, but it's still not perfect. This could change up a little bit. We're going to keep you guys up to date with this type of pattern change daily. So be sure to subscribe and tune in with us daily. Looking at the total storminess in general here, we see that there is a lot of it around for a lot of the central and eastern states in general here for today on Wednesday the 28th. As we keep going towards Thursday the 29th, we see that this is a very similar area. We're going to see this on the Storm Prediction Center outlooks at the end of this video as well, where every single day it seems like we're not too far detached from the day prior to it. Typically, things are moving pretty quickly to where there's clear differences between, each day, just today versus tomorrow. But the pattern we're in here is fairly stagnant. And that's causing this to, again, look very, very similar each and every day. We'll see more of that later on. By Friday, one of the key differences is we get this low here. This is Friday at 2 p.m. We get storms beginning to develop here. We talked about this yesterday. This low looks to shift northward, and we actually have a slight risk all the way into Virginia now. We'll look at the Storm Prediction Center later on, like we mentioned, but overall, this is looking like a more expansive severe weather day on Friday overall. Saturday, this is going to be the 31st of May, 985 there over Maine. We have a nor'easter right there causing wind and heavy rainfall. There's a little bit of a cold front. This could be more thunderstorms or perhaps severe weather for the southeast and mid-Atlantic there for Saturday. Time will tell, of course. And then by Sunday, that goes ahead and moves out. We're actually in a very dry pattern compared to what we were in. We don't get our next storm system until about Monday the 2nd. It begins to develop across the Rockies, where we have a pretty strong low here over southern Wyoming. Heavier rainfall for some spots, and what we're going to see is as we reach the low temperatures for that night, this is 2 a.m., we actually get a lot of snowfall here in the Rockies, especially the highest elevations, but you can see all those blue spots in there. Mountaintop locations getting plenty of snowfall there by June 3rd. This low looks very dynamic. This could be our next severe weather outbreak. Between the 3rd and 4th, we're going to see it here near the Dakotas and Minnesota. We get this stretching cold front look. Also, the clearly defined warm front out ahead of things. Again, this is June 4th, so that's right around that pattern flip. So we get this warm, humid air getting pulled northward by that warm front, just like this. And then we're going to get this push of cooler, drier air behind the cold front. And that's going to slam into the side of that warm, humid air that's moving northward. And that's what creates that kind of column of rotation that's up there horizontally. All we need at that point to produce tornadoes is downdrafts, strong downdrafts, which happen in very strong thunderstorms. And that pushes that horizontal column of rotation into a more vertical one, which is a basically supercell or tornado wall cloud. So essentially we're getting that rotation vertical, which does not guarantee a tornado, but that is what produces a tornado eventually. So in some cases that will produce tornadoes. I think this could be an outbreak, like I mentioned, if this keeps looking this way. So let's see what happens by Wednesday afternoon. And it does move, but it's still pretty slow progressing, and we'd be watching for severe weather along all of these cold front areas. So we're looking at the plains, Midwest. This is a classic, very widespread thunderstorm event. Thursday on the 5th, we see that a lot of our activity has shifted towards this deeper south area, and it does stretch up, as you can see, into a lot of like the Mississippi River area, up into some of the Midwest and Ohio Valley, as well as Michigan there, where we'll be seeing some potential severe weather activity. And then for Friday the 6th, this is when we'd be looking at the Gulf and East Coasts, seeing that thunderstorm activity and potential for severe weather. We'll be watching for that all the way out east there as well. Saturday, after that storm system moves out, we get these kind of daily thunderstorms across the deep south, very typical stuff. Sunday the 8th, still there. And we actually begin to see by Monday the 9th, we get this low here near the Great Lakes and maybe a little bit of a dragging cold front here. Either way, this is looking a little bit more dynamic and widespread. A very large area experiencing thunderstorms and potential severe weather by Monday the 9th. So another pretty active, healthy system after that first one, which looks like it could be one of the bigger ones of the year if it looks that way. Tuesday the 10th, we see this line of thunderstorms just from New England all the way down to Texas and everywhere in between. Keep going. Wednesday the 11th, very widespread thunderstorm pattern. This is the end of the model run on the 12th, but we could see these multiple pockets of large thunderstorms. So we get into a much more active pattern once we reach that first and second week of June as opposed to what we're in now. And we're already semi-active, but things are looking to pick up there. Regardless of cold or warm, that looks to be the case moving forward. Total precipitation, as you can see, is rather large for a lot of your Rockies and everywhere east of there. A couple hot spots would be This area here across the southern plains and deep south. Also here for some of the upper Midwest and northern plains. And this East Coast area, it's kind of darker red in there too as well. So let's look at the anomalies. And as you can see, yeah, these are the hot spots where we're the most above average, right? Like this. And then we get this one just to the north of it right there as well, where we are far above average. The blues being 2 to even 5 inches above average for just the next 15 days. So that is a massive departure in the above average direction for precipitation. Areas in between, maybe for a lot of the Midwest, Ohio Valley, Great Lakes here, a little bit drier, maybe actually significantly drier than the surrounding areas, but it is just slightly below what is normal for this time of year for these given locations. So it's not too bad in the grand scheme of things unless you're comparing yourself to the areas north and south of you. Then it is looking very dry compared to them, but they're already so far above average that it hardly even matters. Now looking at the Storm Prediction Center outlooks, here's for today on Wednesday the 28th. We have 2 general thunderstorm risk areas, one there for New York and then one for many different other states. Those lighter green areas is where we expect general thunderstorms, as the name implies, but anything is possible. We don't expect severe weather, but anything is possible, so heed every watch, warning, and advisory. The darker green region there across the Gulf Coast and Southeast Coast, as well as some of the plains, is going to be your level 1 marginal risk where we expect isolated severe weather to occur. And then we have 4 yellow areas there across the plains and into the deep south. That is where we expect scattered about severe weather. That's your level 2 slight risk. We expect that scattered about severe weather to be occurring within those areas. Day 2, so tomorrow, look at how much it moves. Here's day 1, day 2, Thursday the 29th. Look at how little it moves. Again, we have the general thunderstorm risk, the marginal risk, and the slight risk, again, present for tomorrow on Thursday the 29th. And same thing for Friday the 30th, where finally things start to move. We see the southeast is kind of the heart of it here. That's that date we were talking about where things have kind of moved northward. Originally, your low was expected to be somewhere in here. That would have cut off most of the risk at that point, so it would all be south of there. But now we expect that low pretty well to the north, and we've kind of drawn a new line to where everything south of there can really, really flourish with severe weather, unfortunately. So that was exactly what we were talking about yesterday, where if that low moves, it's going to change the areas anticipating severe weather, and it has changed in a pretty big way, especially for Richmond, Virginia, Hampton Roads, Virginia, those 2 areas being included, and anybody else in, South Central Virginia as well. Definitely seeing a pretty big increase. Charlottesville, Virginia might be in there as well. So that southeast for day 3, Friday the 30th, is where we're going to be really, really watching for severe weather. We'll know more, obviously, as we move forward over the next couple days and make more videos. So be sure to tune in with us. We do upload every single day, so be sure to subscribe. You can even hit the bell icon for daily notifications when we upload so you never miss one. Be sure to like the video if you did enjoy it. Leave a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.